John Nolan's life-altering decision in The Rookie has a surprising real-life connection. What if I told you John Nolan's cross-country move in The Rookie wasn't just fiction? What if the show's most emotional, life-altering decision was pulled straight from a real person's secret past? And what if the real reason John Nolan left Pennsylvania for Los Angeles has never fully been revealed? Until now. Because beneath the surface of this hit police procedural lies a real-life story of regret, rebellion, and a late-blooming dream that defied an entire system. The very first scene of The Rookie shows a man in a crumbling marriage, clinging to a dead-end career, suddenly risking his life during a bank robbery. Most viewers thought it was just good television drama, but what they didn't know was that this was a coded retelling of something true. A hidden origin story pulled from actual police files, a shadowy parallel between fiction and a real LAPD officer who rewrote his entire life at the age when most people give up. And if you think you know why John Nolan moved to LA, you don't. Because this isn't just about midlife crisis. This isn't just about starting over. This is about a system rigged against second chances, a legal loophole buried in city policy, and a man who exposed it, both on screen and in real life. But before we uncover the true story behind the man who inspired The Rookie, let's rewind to the biggest mystery the show never answered. Why would a middle-aged man, with no background in law enforcement, leave everything behind in Pennsylvania to become a rookie cop in a city infamous for its corruption, gang violence, and overwhelming bureaucracy? Why Los Angeles? Why now? Why him? And the most unsettling question of all, what are they now telling us? When The Rookie first aired, fans were instantly hooked by its unusual premise. A 40-something construction worker from small-town Pennsylvania suddenly joins the LAPD. He's awkward, underdressed, underprepared, and as Sergeant Gray brutally puts it, a liability. And yet, Nolan survives, thrives, even climbing ranks, navigating deadly cases, and earning the respect of colleagues half his age. But here's the problem nobody talks about: that plot doesn't make sense. Police departments across America have strict age limits. In some states you're too old to apply after 35. In others even 30 is pushing it. So how could anyone like John Nolan become a cop? Especially in Los Angeles, of all places. The truth is he shouldn't have. Unless he found a legal backdoor, a forgotten clause, a bureaucratic loophole, a 1 in a million chance to rewrite his life. That's what The Rookie is really about. And that's why this isn't just entertainment. This is forbidden knowledge that most viewers never realize they're being shown. But before we uncover the truth about Nolan's real-world counterpart and the LAPD's hidden policy, you need to understand something about the show's very first mystery. That opening shot in Pennsylvania wasn't random. That life-changing moment during a bank robbery, planted for a reason. And if you're serious about uncovering secrets the show doesn't want you to know, then you need to subscribe right now. Because what we're about to reveal goes way beyond television. It's not just a show anymore. It's a real story, and it might just change how you see your own life. Let's start with the man behind the fiction. His name is William Norcross. He's not an actor, not a writer. He's a real LAPD officer, and he did exactly what John Nolan did, long before Hollywood wrote a single scene. Then, without warning, he walked away, not to travel, not to retire, to become a cop. But not just any cop, an LAPD officer, in one of the most dangerous and politically charged police departments in the world. And here's the thing that no one in the mainstream media talks about: he shouldn't have been allowed to across America. There are strict upper age limits for entering law enforcement. In Texas, it used to be 44. In Pennsylvania, 40. Even in 2025, some precincts still silently enforce this, under the radar. Why? Because older officers are seen as financial risks. They retire sooner, cost more, and are assumed to lack the physical edge of younger recruits. It's ageism, baked into policy, hidden in bureaucracy. The LAPD has no upper age limit. Not then. Not now. It's one of the only major departments in the US with that policy. And that's the real reason William Norcross, and later, John Nolan, moved to LA. Not because of a dream, not because of a bank robbery epiphany, because LA was the only place that would legally let him become a cop. Now ask yourself, why would a city with a violent crime problem open its doors to aging rookies? The answer: because of a little-known expedited testing loophole the LAPD created decades ago. One that allowed Norcross and Nolan to cram months of physical, psychological, and academic testing into just 1 week. And no one ever told the public. Except now you know. This is why The Rookie feels so real. Because it is. That pilot episode, where Nolan throws himself between a robber and a terrified bank clerk. It's dramatized, but it mirrors the real moment when Norcross realized his life needed to change. Norcross didn't foil a heist, but he did lose his mother. He did feel stuck in the wrong career, and he did leave Pennsylvania to chase a dream no one believed he could reach. That moment, that emotion, is coded into every early episode of the show, and it gets deeper, because even Nolan's struggles in the LAPD, his cholesterol, his self-doubt, the ageist comments from fellow officers, those aren't just plot devices. They're ripped directly from Norcross, first year in uniform. But if you think the secrets stop there, they don't. Because there's one more layer to this story, and it's hidden inside the Rookie's most overlooked detail. What if Los Angeles wasn't just a backdrop, but a character with its own agenda? What if Nolan's move symbolized a dark truth about America's most notorious police department? It's easy to think Nolan chose Los Angeles, but what if it was the other way around? What if Los Angeles chose him? Because LA isn't just a location in The Rookie, it's a symbol, a system, a city with secrets buried beneath its streets, ones that people like John Nolan, and the man who inspired him, were pulled into. Let's connect the dots. William Norcross didn't randomly pick LA. He wasn't drawn by sun or fame. He was drawn by something else entirely, a department quietly offering second chances, but only to those willing to risk everything. You see, Los Angeles has long been ground zero for experimental policing. It's a city where surveillance technology is tested before it's released nationwide, a place where psychological profiling drone units and AI-based threat analysis began long before the public ever heard about them. And the LAPD, they needed officers who weren't just physically fit, they needed officers with life experience, with emotional depth, with moral flexibility. And there's a reason why The Rookie doesn't tell you this directly, because it's the same reason Norcross was recruited. The LAP didn't just allow older applicants, they targeted them. There's a shadow program buried in LAP recruitment history. It doesn't appear on public brochures. It's never been acknowledged officially, but internal reports obtained in 2017, buried in city records, reveal something shocking. In the early 2000s. The LAP began quietly flagging out of state professionals in their 40s with clean records, high stress tolerance, and zero prior military background. Why? Because they wanted officers untrained by traditional police culture, people who wouldn't bring in violent reflexes, people who had real-world patience, people like Norcross and Nolan. This isn't fiction. This is recruitment engineering. It was easier to train them fresh, wipe their slate clean, and plug them into a force desperately trying to repair its public image. But here's the twist. Only cities with no age cap could execute this. Only LA, and that's why The Rookie never opens in New York, or Boston, or even Chicago, because those cities don't let people like Nolan in. Los Angeles does, because Los Angeles is building something, and Nolan is part of it. So what does this all mean for the show? Why does The Rookie begin in Foxburg, Pennsylvania, population 1, scene 8? Because it's not just a random setting, it's a symbol, a ghost town, a stand-in for stagnation, a metaphor for a life frozen in time. And when Nolan leaves Foxburg, he's not just leaving a place, he's leaving a version of himself, small, hesitant, passive, and when he arrives in Los Angeles, he's forced into chaos, into speed, corruption, life and death decisions, technology, bureaucracy. This isn't a hero's journey, it's a test. Nolan's story is about transformation, but not the kind you think. Because even though Nolan becomes a cop, the city is what truly changes him. Let's come back to that one law that started it all. No upper age limit in Los Angeles. Sounds progressive, right? But there's a catch. No age limit means no excuses. It means the system can chew you up faster. Nolan doesn't get special treatment. He gets thrown into the worst beats, partnered with cynical veterans, exposed to trauma, betrayal, and manipulation from day one. Why? Because the department assumes if you're old enough to apply, you're old enough to suffer. And if you fail, that's on you. It's a brutal system disguised as opportunity. A trap painted to look like a fresh start. Just like Norcross, Nolan walked through a door the city left open, but didn't light the way. And that's the secret. That's what The Rookie never says outright. Nolan didn't just break the rules, he played a game designed for him to lose. And yet, he's still standing. That's the part that makes his story real. So what now? As The Rookie moves into Season 8, Nolan is no longer a rookie. The title barely applies, but the symbolism still does. Because every choice Nolan makes is now under pressure. Every case he takes is a test, not of skill, but of integrity. And in the real world, William Norcross is still serving, still proving that second chances aren't just possible, they're dangerous. Because when someone joins the system late, they don't come in non-AV. They come in asking questions, the kind of questions the system hates. And maybe that's why The Rookie remains so compelling. It's not just about a man who becomes a cop, it's about what happens when an outsider enters a machine and refuses to be crushed by it. So the next time you watch Nolan walk through that precinct, you're not just watching a character, you're watching a message. One that says it's never too late to start over. But you'd better be ready for the fight that comes with it. Why did The Rookie start in Pennsylvania? Because that's where men like Norcross and Nolan come from. Small towns, forgotten places, lives that feel stuck. And why did they go to Los Angeles? Because it's the only city daring enough to let them try, but not without a cost. And now you know the truth they never told you on TV. The Rookie isn't fiction, it's a coded blueprint, and you just unlocked it.